talk to Liz Kendall and Nick Timothy. Liz, do you think the government is doing enough to help people whose lives have been blighted by this cladding scandal?
No, and I've seen this in my own constituency. Look, I just think that Mr. Jenrick is completely out of touch with most people's lives. I have a development in my constituency where people are desperately worried about the cladding. It's under 18 metres. They haven't been able to move, get mortgages or insurance, and many of them work for the NHS, are doctors or nurses or other key workers. And £50 a month might not be that much for Robert Jenrick, but it is a huge amount for my constituents. And they simply cannot understand the difference between 1 metre, why they should get help in one situation and not the other. You know, I know a lot of Conservative backbenchers too who are extremely angry that there have been these broken promises for many leaseholders. So I think the government is going to have to return to this and sort it out.
I mean, Nick, do you understand the distinction that the Secretary of State is trying to make between 18 metres and just under 18 metres? I mean, there are lots and lots of people, including, as Liz says, some Tory MPs, who just think it's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think he talked about trying to balance the interests of leaseholders and the interests of taxpayers, and clearly between the Treasury and between his department there has been some kind of tussle, and there is a finite amount of money to spend on this, and so they've had to work out where is a fair place to draw the line. I mean, it seems to me that this is a classic example of where actually the government could spend the money up front, get this done quickly, and try to recover costs later through taxing property developers and some of the freeholders of these businesses, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, I can't remember whether you coined the phrase "the just about managing people," but it was certainly associated with your time in Downing Street. And it's certainly important, Boris Johnson would say, that he connects with those people if he's going to continue to win elections. I mean, surely this is a policy where he's somewhat letting those people down, isn't he, Nick?
Well, I mean, we'll see how this policy works in practice, and we'll see how the government responds to it. But I mean, it is certainly the case that a lot of the people caught up with this are people who have done, you know, everything right, everything society asks of them. They've worked hard. They've managed to get themselves onto the property ladder. And now they find themselves in a situation where they're going to have increased bills, and in some cases they may not be able to sell their properties. And nobody wants people who have worked hard, done the right thing, to experience those things. So that's why I think there might be a different way of doing this.